Hey, hello and welcome back. We have a new prize car. It is this Peugeot, and we'll do like we've done a bunch of times now. We'll take it around Imola in Prize Car Showdown, but we're gonna change up the format a lot. First of all, let's go look at the car. Then afterwards we'll do a brief history. Then we'll do sort of an explainer lap. See how does this car feel, handle, ups, downs, stuff like that. Then we'll do a hard lap, like how fast is this car, and then we'll see how it fits in with all the other times. So first of all, the car. If we look at this, quite frankly, beautiful model in here in AC, you see the age, because this sort of raised nose with the sort of fangs hanging down here, that's sort of like the F1 cars from the time. And looking at some of the cars it was battling, like the Audi here, it looks more like a modern LMP1 car than the Audi does, because, well, it's closed cockpit. So there's that. It has these over here to suck in air. They look kind of bizarre, because you would think you wouldn't want to sort of air brake yourself with having these big ducts, but it helps. You have the exhaust down here, a massive diffuser in the back, giant wing, which actually also has been used for one of the Pikes Peak's car, just straight over put onto like a regular Peugeot 208, I think it is. So that's sort of fun. And then yeah, it's heavily sponsored by PlayStation. It's a really good looking car, I think. Personal preference, of course, but I really like the look of it. You can really see how the airflow goes over the top. You see how you have like these ducts, so it comes up here and then it goes out. Some goes down and some sort of follows up, continues alongside the cabin here, and then down and out here. And of course you also have some ground effect here, where some air in the middle here goes under the car and sort of sucks the car to the ground, which is why the diffuser's also working. Now, history wise, this car had a bit of a history. This car was part of Peugeot's project to re-enter Le Mans. They had been there in the 90s and they were back in 2005. A version of this car actually ran from 2005 to 2010, and it won in 2009. We are working with a Le Mans LMP1 winning car. Insane, absolutely insane. In the back, or I guess I should say in the middle of this car, we have a twin turbo diesel engine producing 730 horsepower. That's a lot when you think about the car only weighing 930 kilograms. That's not too far from the 1-to-1 power to weight ratio. And actually it was a really successful car. It won 20 of the 30 races it entered. Insane. And looking at the drivers who've driven this car, I noticed Jacques Villeneuve is one of them. Yeah, 1997 Formula 1 world champion Jacques Villeneuve has driven this car. So a fun thing. I mean, this of course is many years after his prime of being world champion, but still, like, yeah, it's fun when the drivers sort of switch categories, just like when Fernando Alonso drove an LMP1 car in 2019, I think it was, and won with Toyota. And lastly, looking at the name, it might be a bit confusing. So first of all, we have 908, which just shows this is part of the 90 series, and then the 8 is sort of the model afterwards. And the 90 series was just Peugeot's racing cars. HDi, which just is a French version of, it's a high pressure direct injection car, so you know, gotta get a lot of air into that engine. And lastly, FAP is French for something, and I'm not gonna try to pronounce it in French because I will butcher that, but basically it has particle filters. That's about it. Yeah, exciting car and insanely successful car, really. Won so many races, that really surprised me. And actually, talking about racing, let's take this one around Imola. Now, I can't really race like this. I don't have a wheel, I don't really have anything, so let's fix that. Here I am in my Challenger playseat with my trusty Logitech G29. Let's take this baby around the track. Okay, so here we are coming up to the start finish line. Let's just get around these last few corners before we actually start the lap. Now this car is, as you'd expect, it's a beast. And you gotta tame it, you really do. Now it does have a lot of grip, because of course it does, it's an LMP1 car. But it really falls off the cliff quite easily. So as you saw there, I was drifting because, well, you know, I turned in a bit too hard, and if we come up here and we brake around there, I could have broken a little bit later, but yeah, whatever. If I just smash on that curb, it's, no, actually I kept it kind of stable there, but sometimes, especially that curb, if you hit that one it goes wearing off. If I just try to turn in here, you can see it just wants to slide all over the place. I mean, you're not supposed to turn in with that much speed, but like this car is wild. Also, the visibility is a bit poor. I mean, also just in general compared to other LMP1 cars. I've driven a few here in the game, and this one is the worst. You know, you can do it and you can use it, and it's fine. I guess I could adjust the field of view even more, but I mean, the wheel is about the same size as it normally is, which just means the window is harder to see out of. The acceleration is really good. The braking sometimes feels a bit, and the lower end acceleration as well, because you see, I get up and now it hits me, which makes me think this is probably gonna have really good MRA. Now braking actually is worse than I would expect, because I've had other cars that for this tight chicane here can brake at the 50 mark, whereas this one has to brake at like between the 100 and the 50 mark. So, you know, not what you would expect, but it's a beast. It's definitely a beast. And as for time around here, I mean, there's only one way to find out, isn't there? And it's to, oh my god, I'm weird drifting again. It's to go into the odd laps. So let's see how fast this car actually does go around Imola. And we are starting here, coming over the start-finish straight, carrying a lot of speed down the fastest part of Imola, and by far the longest straight. We are hitting almost 300 kilometers an hour. That is proper fast. Now we gotta embrace ourselves for the first corner, and we hit the chicane perfectly. Braking point was perfect. Now we're getting ready for the second small straight here, coming down to the S's. At this point we could probably have braked a little later, but that's okay. We still carry a lot of speed, and we get a little bit wobbly there, but it's okay, we don't lose too much time. Now for this next point, it's quite important to have a late apex, and we do manage that, but we could probably have gotten on the speeder a little bit earlier. Never mind that, now we are coming up to the crest. This next corner is a long left-hander, and it's quite important to get this right, but it's also quite tricky because you have to sort of anticipate the next one coming over here. We managed quite well, I would say. Now for this tricky little right-hander, we take way too much curb here, but that's okay, we don't lose too much speed. This corner, however, that's quite tricky. It really tightens up at the end, and you gotta be aware of that. Now we're coming up to the most tricky part of Imola, the tight chicane. You can never carry as much speed through here as you want, but we do somewhat well. We go a little wide on the exit, but again, it's fine. Now it's all about just getting the speed down towards the last two left-hand corners, 9 degrees. We brake here. We could probably have braked a little later and hit the apex harder, but it's okay, we carry a lot of speed. It's just important to get this corner right, since now it's just all speed up flat out, and see how far you can go before you hit the finish line. With this lap, we're coming in at a 1:33.7. Amazing. Let's see how that compares to the other times. It's been a while since I last did one of these, and if you haven't seen, let's just go through all the cars, see what's in here so far. We're starting off with the 12C, coming in at a 2:04. Then we hit a Ferrari 1:53, so a massive improvement, over 10 seconds. It's insane. The 12C is horrible to drive. Then we hit the Regera, which is sort of fun because my initial theory for the Ferrari was, okay, so Imola is just a really twisty track. But the Regera is everything but a twisty car. It's a fast car in a straight line, and its straight line speed, it just like makes up for all its lag of grip. It's insane. Then we hit a twisty car because now we hit the banana. We only go 1 second lower, and as you can see actually, the Regera was only like in the 10th here faster than the Ferrari. But we hit another second down with the banana. Then we pop up to another slick tires car up here, which was, when the first video came out, the fastest car of them all. 1:49, 3 seconds lower, insane, and you know, a Le Mans car, so you would expect it to be really fast. But an old Le Mans car, it's from the 80s. The next car up is the Huayra BC, which really surprised me. I remember back then just coming to the realization that we're now making road cars that are as fast as like Le Mans cars from back then. It's insane. At least for Imola. After that, we hit the P1. We're working on a small difference here. You see, we fell about 1 second down to the Huayra BC. Now we fall about a little over 2 seconds down to the P1. And again, here we see a car that just really takes it in the straight line rather than being twisty. After the P1, we hit what is actually under R, since I couldn't find a mod for the Revoluzione. But you know, it's just a little bit better. So you just imagine the time is a little bit better. It still took the top spot. Before this was the fastest car we've ever had around the track. And again, we're going 1 second slower. Now, 146. I want you to really look at that number. 146. Like the last many cars, since the Porsche year, we've fallen 3 seconds in all of these cars. And I've actually had to make a new category for this Peugeot. Because if we look at the top, we'll see it has the title of reigning champion. Because 133, are you absolutely kidding me? It's 13 seconds faster. It's insanely fast. I mean, it's a modern LMP1 car. You would expect it to be fast, but this is just stupid. The reason why I gave this its own category was because I don't think it's gonna be beaten. I honestly don't think there's a car that can beat it. Maybe the other Peugeot which we have in the game, the one from the 90s, that might beat it. But until we get that, I don't think there's any car that's gonna come close to this time. So it's gonna get its own spot up here at the top. We'll continue the competition down here with the real cars, the cars that aren't like broken as fuck. But congratulations to the Peugeot. 133, that's an absolutely insane time. So that's about it. We learned a bit about this car. It's really fast, we knew that. It's a Le Mans winning car. It's a diesel car for some reason. And it's a car you should really try to get. So I wish you all the best with trying to get the car. Good luck in the finals. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you want to subscribe, and I hope I'll see you next time. Bye.